This is Flip Gordon, and you are listening to Wrestling POV Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's MLW's Kiro Kwan representing the Contra unit, and we're here with Wrestling POV's Global Entertainment Podcast.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to the Wrestling POV Podcast.
What's up? This is Jeff Cobb. You're listening to WPOV Global.
Yo. Welcome, fans, to another edition of Wrestling POV Global. Yeah, your host, the legend T. James Logan. He'll be on in a minute. Don't forget his friend, the gentleman dude. Yeah, the Canelo guy. Ask him about his surgery, man. It's a reduction, I'll tell you that. Anyhow, folks, welcome to this week's edition. Hey, guys, welcome. Elio, was that your brother? What the heck was that?
Oh, what's going on?
Oh my goodness. I know I told that guy, I owed him $50 and he said he would waive it if he could do the opening of the show. So sorry, fans. Damn it, Elio, put your drink down. There's no time for drinking here. It's time for wrestling. Well, as our good friend Rex said, I'm your host of the Legend T. James Logan. With me, the somewhat inebriated gentleman, Elio Canella, who would be traded for a Cinnabon if old Conan could get his hands on him. But anyhow, how was your week, buddy?
My week's been great.
Been great, yeah. It seems we've talked to each other quite a bit this week. It's been a busy week.
Yep.
Well, you know what, folks? I want to say a special hello to all our friends out there. We're going to be going around the world of professional wrestling, and we'll be covering a lot of interesting stuff this week. But you know what? Let's start off like we like to do with our weekly poll. All right.
Okay.
Last week's hot topic, me and Elio spent a couple minutes talking about the AEW women's division. We both over the opinion that it's in pretty bad, rough shape right now. And we were curious what you, the wrestling fans, think. So we threw out our poll there and we asked, the question was, is the AEW women's division entertaining or is it just plain terrible? And a whopping 72% of you said just plain terrible. Yikes! I think we might have hit something here. Let's read some of these comments. Clay Cummings says all they focus on is basically Britt Baker. Once you think they're going to go somewhere with, say, a Chris Stratlander, they totally change everything. The women's division in AEW is awful. Plus, Riho never wrestles, and she's your champion. To which Rob Campbell replied, Clay Cummings, Britt's been buried to Riho and other Japanese women. Kong is Brandy's sidekick, and Nyla's jobbing to your most over women, is jobbing to your most over women are doing nothing. Britt finally won a match last week. Kenny books it, and you can tell. So I'm not sure if Rob Campbell is agreeing that it's a mess or not. But I think he's saying that it seems like the booking's not the best. All right, moving on here. Inku Palio says there's Britt Baker, Riho, Chris Stratlander, and the Nightmare Collective. Well, he just reiterated. I'm not sure if that means
that did answer the question.
Yeah, not even close. So I'm not sure. Were you just listing wrestlers you do in AEW? Come on, man. Bruce Peach says we just need Bruce Peach, and forgive me if I mispronounce your names. Said we just need to give it time. So I think he believes that maybe it's not the best, but it can get better. To which Rob Campbell replies, pushing Rio over Kong, Nyla Rose, and Britt is the problem. Steve Lyle, oh my goodness. Steve Lyle replies, Rob Campbell, why do you say that? Only because of her size? Because it sure isn't based on her experience. She's been wrestling longer than all those women except for Kong. Okay, so there's a bit of a debate here so far. And also, the same fellow replies, it's getting there. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I think, though, what we're seeing is fans are noticing some of the things that we have been talking about. Riho, a champion you never get to see much. Some truly dreadful wrestlers at the top of the division. You know what I mean? Like, why on earth is Nyla Rose in any kind of contention? It's not like she's a very good wrestler. It's not like, All right.
I mean,
Michael
I
Holinchek
mean,
says, at best, it's average. And the Brandy Rhodes went cuckoo nightmarish collective storyline is rubbish.
I agree.
Chris Cyril said both. So he thinks it's great and bad. So, okay.
Oh.
Jordan Ark says, I don't know. I like Shanna, Chris Stratlander, and after a few matches, I actually like Big Swole. I also love Awesome Kong snatching weaves off bitches.
Yeah.
Good shit right there. Everyone else needs a little work. Nyla's okay, but not great. Sheeta and Riho are all right too. Okay, so just liking it.
Colton Flanagan says, I like who they have. Just do something. I like Riho, but for the love of God, have her there and present. I know why she can't be, but that's not an excuse. Plus, Nightmare Collective is dumb. If it were me, they are still super early into it. Burn the division and just start fresh.
Ouch.
Wow.
Okay. J. Jordan Ark said they might have something going with this whole Britt Baker heel turn. I feel like they just need a little more time to smooth everything out. Once we get a few matches in the division, all will be forgiven. Okay. George Rezick Jr. says Akira Shida is great, and Britt Baker works better heel. Riho is on Brock Lesnar's schedule, and Chris Stratlander is awesome. The Nightmare Collective is meh. Everyone else, I don't think much of because they're not on Dynamite, and I don't watch Dark. Ooh, there's something we've talked about a bit in the past. And you read the last comment there, buddy.
Richard McTuff says, I like the matches. I think they need to develop more storylines. It's better than the division on Raw and SmackDown. It's a snooze fest.
It is not the best. They're right. For every, we've talked about this. We're really high on Chris Stratlander, but they've done nothing with her. I think here the problem is this, okay? In a nutshell, AEW, when they started this whole thing, said that they were going to be different than WWE. They were going to do things wrestling-wise. They were going to give the fans what they wanted. And yet, the women's division is a great example of how they're not doing that, how they're just exactly the WWE. They start off with Riho as champion. They push this unbelievable champion on us. And they decide that Nyla Rose and Britt Baker are going to be the two big, and Awesome Kong are going to be the three big guns. But, except for Kong, who hasn't really wrestled, Britt Baker and Nyla Rose are not ready to be A-list wrestlers. No. So they throw them down our throats continually. Doesn't work. Out of nowhere comes Chris Stratlander. No one expected her, but all of a sudden she caught the imagination of fans. Instead of doing we're going to be different and give fans what they want and actually, give Stratlander a chance to really reach the upper heights, they stick to their guns and they bury Stratlander with some crap with the collective. And then keep throwing Nyla Rose and Britt Baker down our throats. I've said it before, and it was even more harsh this week watching it, is Britt Baker. Yes, she's attractive. And yes, she has some basic generic moves, but she is by no means even a B-lister, let alone an A-lister. She needs a lot of work, and I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about her match this week, but dude, she tried to be super heelish, and it came off really poor.
Yeah, that match this week was terrible.
And then we saw Nyla Rose get involved with Riho. And you got to ask yourself, why in the hell would they even bother with Nyla Rose? She has not had victories. They say in AEW, your victories matter. Your win-loss record is important. Determines your shot at championships. Yet the moves they've made with Nyla Rose prove right then and there that doesn't matter. That they're just going to do what they think is what we want to see. And we don't. We've been very clear that Nyla Rose is another person who needs to work on their craft before they're put into any position because they're not ready for it. A woman her size with her build should be doing a lot more, should be a monster. And instead she comes off as an awkward, overly big girl who doesn't really have power. And that's not cool. That does a disservice to everyone. So fans, you know what? Me and Elio were on board with you. The 72% of you that put just plain terrible, yeah, it really is. The 28% of you that put entertaining, well, quit huffing glue, you guys, because it's only going to get worse.
Those 28% are the ones that got into my liquor cabinet because I'm running low on supplies.
Yeah, no. So you know what? We're gonna put up a news. You know what? We're gonna do a poll, and next week's poll. Since we're talking about this, let's talk about the men's division right now, not the tag team division. Or you know what?
All right.
Let's work our way through it. Actually, let's do the tag team division first. There's some stuff going on all over the place. There's teams that are good, teams that are bad. Today, we're going to have two hot topics. Our second hot topic, they're going to be small ones today. We're going to talk a bit about the tag team division in AEW. Okay? But so fans, one of the questions that we'll be having for next week will in fact be, is AWA's tag team division entertaining or is it terrible? We want to know. We'll have that up and probably in the next couple days. So fans, take your chance to think about that and vote. And fans, write in. Tell us what teams what teams in this division are great. Which teams are horrible.
And just answer the question. Don't do a roll call. We already know who's in the company.
Yes, we don't need a list of names. Okay. All right. So for news this week, not a lot of title changes, but we would be remiss if we did mention that the IWGP Tag Team Heavyweight belts changed hands last week as the Guerrillas of Destiny have recaptured that belt with, it's got to be what, their 714th time?
How many times have they won the belts?
I don't know, but it's got to be quite a few. It's got to be quite a few. I didn't think the team of Finn Juice had a lot of legs on it. I questioned why Juice Robinson would get himself involved in a team when he's so clearly over as a singles wrestler. Maybe he was doing it trying to introduce Dave Finlay back into the fold, but I didn't see them long as champions. And I gotta say, the rate the tag team belts have gone back and forth, not surprised it was God. It seems the Guerrillas are pretty much going to have it 3/4 of the time every time.
Okay.
Now this week's hot topic, the first one we're going to talk about is there was a couple signings this week. We're going to talk about two signings within WWE NXT, and we're going to talk about four other signings to NXT UK. Okay, and each of these come with some questions. The UK one's not so much, but definitely the two main signings, and we're going to talk about what kind of chance these two guys have. Okay. Now, it was announced this week that the WWE NXT signed Timothy Thatcher and Killer Kross.
Okay.
Two wrestlers that me and Elio we talked rather good things about both these guys for the longest time.
Yep.
Very different type of wrestlers, very solid wrestlers. First of all, does it surprise you, Elio, that these two guys went to the WWE?
Killer Kross, not so much. Because Scarlett Bordeaux's already there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I had a feeling he'd eventually end up there. Timothy Thatcher, though, more because of his style. WWE is more like entertainment style of wrestling, and like it's more show. His is more like the old school style. Kind of like what the Revival was doing.
So, I'm going to great agree on this because Timothy Thatcher really is, if he somehow was signed on to the main roster tomorrow, he is such an anomaly compared to just about any other wrestler. And it's not like they sign some ninja master or something flashy. Now, I enjoy Timothy Thatcher for what he does, but what he does is very old school wrestling. And there's a reason, unfortunately, that it's called old school wrestling is because nobody really does it anymore. And there's a reason. If people tuned in to see non-flashy, pure scientific wrestling, well, then ROH would have never changed, or mat wrestling wouldn't have been removed from the Olympics, or, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not flashy enough to gather the masses' attention. Now, Killer Kross, I think, has a better chance of success within the WWE because he does have shown he has the potential to do a lot of characteristics. However, he's a big bald guy with tattoos. Well, there's got to be like 8 million wrestlers in the world that are big bald guys with tattoos.
Right.
I could easily see him being swallowed up in the expanse of NXT and never really going anywhere. Timothy Thatcher, though, if they're willing to give this guy a chance, he could be the anomaly that takes the storm and becomes something unique as an entity. But I don't see it, man. I don't see him being given the chance to show what he can do. And I'm not sure if
I don't know.
anybody wants to.
I just think they're gonna give him the same treatment they've been given the Revival.
Yeah. You know, at least the Revival do have a lot more personality than Timothy Thatcher has ever really kind of shown out there. I find the whole thing kind of weird, too, is the WWE has sent out feelers before to Thatcher, and Thatcher has always maintained he had no interest in joining the WWE. So,
wow. See, I don't get that. Like the guys that at first they say that they have no interest in joining WWE, yet sooner or later they end up there.
well, because money changes a lot of things.
Yeah.
Enough money thrown at anybody, you can get about enough results. I'm not sure if Timothy Thatcher, and I'm going to be honest, I don't see either of these guys ever making it to the main roster. I could see them having some solid runs in NXT, but I don't think their style, their look, anything about them screams anything that would be accepted.
I think either one or both maybe might debut at the next pay-per-view on the 16th. Okay. It's just my guess.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to obviously keep our ear to the ground. Along with those signings, there were 4 other signings for NXT UK this week, okay? There was one other person signed to NXT. I was going to talk about her last for a simple reason is she actually is a wrestler who got signed as a referee. And she'll be trained. Right. And that was AJ Pereira, who used to float around in the Eastern Seaboard quite a bit. I've seen matches of hers. She's a good up-and-coming talent. It makes me surprised, however, that she is going into refereeing and not wrestling. You know, so I guess WWE is still going to be, you know, trying to have more and more women referees. That'll be an interesting thing to see. Now, let's talk UK. There were 4 signings there. The UK so far is still kind of not really gotten too involved in main roster stuff, although Rhea Ripley would prove me wrong. Let's talk about the 4 wrestlers, though, that got signed over here. First of all, 2 girls that we've seen in the past, and we talked about them, and we both said we kind of wished we'd see more of them, and that was Candy Floss and
Danny Luna.
Danny Luna. I keep mixing her name up, but you know what? I've seen her a few times in the last months ago, and she was on my radar of someone. Why isn't she signed? So this is some great stuff for them. They're definitely going to be making it onto the NXT UK brand. They'll be definitely touring there and making it to the show. Do they necessarily have a chance of making it to the big division? I would probably say not. Candy Floss is fun, but she's kind of like Xia Brookside. I don't really see her making a giant. She's not a Rhea Ripley type. You know what I'm saying?
She's disappeared. Xia Brookside.
Yeah. What happened to her, huh? Did she leave the world? Now, the other 2 guys that got signed are a tag team, and they call themselves, was it Pretty
Deadly?
Pretty Deadly.
Pretty Deadly.
Pretty Deadly. All right, we've seen them the last little while. There's 2 ways to look at what these guys can be used for, okay? One, they can be the sort of fodder for women wrestling fans. They are good-looking dudes. They're young. They're muscular. They've got all the sexiness going on. They could be used. A proper way they could be used would be to have them drive more women fans in. They're definitely good-looking enough guys that they could garner some women followers, right? Or you could flip side it and make them such arrogant dicks that they're the pretty boys that everyone wants to beat, and that too could be very effective. I think I see good stuff out of all 4 of these signees. Yeah, but like I said, I don't see the potential in any of those 4 to crossing the pond and making it to the main WWE roster. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Elio?
Yeah, I think they would do better on in the NXT UK than on the main roster. As we've seen in the past, like as soon as someone is called up to the main roster, like not in case of like Rhea Ripley or Pete Dunne, but in the past we've seen how their character has totally been changed from what they were presented as in NXT.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
And it's not always a good thing.
No, but do you see any of those four in your mind? In all honesty, do you see any of those four actually being able to get out of UK and make it into the main roster or even into the NXT proper?
I see them maybe making it to like the NXT brand.
All four of them?
Pretty Deadly. I can see making it to the NXT.
Okay. Do you see Pretty Deadly ever making it to the main roster?
I don't know. I can't really see it.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. So that.
What were they? They're just gonna pair them with. They just probably pair them with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. Call themselves Pretty Stupid. Pretty bleached. Then they can all bleach their hairs as well. Well, that is our first hot topic. Let's go into a second quick hot topic right now this week, and it'll be an ongoing thing. Let's talk about the tag team division within AEW. Okay. We have the current champions who are Adam Page and Kenny Omega, who are in the middle of some kind of breaking apart storyline. Which
I'm confused by this team.
How so, Elio?
Well, because they have like two storylines going on. First, they have Omega and Page as the tag team champions. Yet they have this secondary story where like they're teasing Page. When is he gonna turn heel? Is he gonna turn?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's every week. It's like okay, this week they're gonna pull the trigger on that, and then it ends up being nope. We still have to wait.
Well, you know what? There are some other teams in there. I mean, we've seen there are some good teams. I mean, you have like SCU, Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. Really good, solid team. The Lucha Brothers, who I would almost say are right up there with the Young Bucks. You have the Young Bucks, who are definitely one of the best tag teams in the world. You have the Best Friends, which I don't think is a great tag team. I mean, I enjoy Trent Barretta a lot, but I'm not at all sold on Chucky T.
No.
The Dark Order.
Sold on Chucky T.
You have the Dark Order, who I don't know. Do they even wrestle anymore? Seems lately all they do is have minions running around. And then you have the Butcher.
They're just running infomercials.
Yeah. Then you have the Butcher and the Blade, who look deadly, to have some real potential, but have been booked like absolute garbage.
And isn't Allie or the Bunny? Isn't she part of the women's roster?
I don't know. I've never seen her wrestle this year yet, and she has not wrestled at all this year. Unless who knows though? I don't watch Dark. I know you don't watch Dark. Does anybody watch Dark? Anyhow,
I don't think they do. Jurassic Express. They were on Dark this past week.
So yeah, I even forgot that team. I'm gonna have to say, when it comes to the tag team division, there is some bad storylines popping around, and there's some things that don't make sense. But overall, there are a lot of very good teams in this division.
Yeah, there are good teams. They just need to.
They need to use them properly.
Yeah.
Well, fans, I'm gonna vote that it is entertaining right now. It could easily turn not entertaining, but right now it's entertaining. Elio, what do you think?
A lot of good teams. I enjoy and love the SCU matches. Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers. We've got Private Party.
Oh yeah, geez, yeah. Look how many teams. There's so many solid teams there.
I enjoy Private Party's matches as well.
And the Ding Dongs. Don't forget the Ding Dongs. and the Allied Powers. And wait a sec. Oh, sorry. I banged my head. Those guys that was years ago. Okay. No, I would say solid. I would say it's a solid tag team division. I would give it a thumbs up. What about you?
Yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up. Yep.
All right. So fans, are we missing the mark when we're talking about tag teams? Do you think maybe that the AWA tag teams are a lot crappier? Are they crapalicious, craptastic, crapola? You tell us. Just don't crap on us. Write in. Tell us what you think.
I sense a second poll.
Yes, there is going to be a second poll. The second poll, we're going to go back to what we said on the first topic, was, do Timothy Thatcher and Killer Kross have any chance of making it to the main roster? If so, if you vote yes, vote it yes on your thing, but also tell us why you voted yes. The same if you voted no. Tell us in the comments below why. So that is going to be our hot topics of the week. I can see by the clock on the wall we have gone a little bit longer than I would have liked to, so I think we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to take a quick preview of the New Japan Pro Wrestling upcoming major card. Then we're going to talk about our 3 shows of the week. And guess what, Elio?
What's that?
We got 2 losers to enter into the vault this week.
Oh my! All right.
And by vault, I do mean, of course, that creepy freezer you have downstairs. All right, turn on the overhead light, dude. We're going into the basement, and things are gonna get crazy. So, folks, we'll be back in a minute or two, and get a bevy, get yourself something. Hey, you know what? If you really love the show, write in and tell Elio how much you want to see him in a live version wearing a tuxedo. I don't know. Anyway, folks, we'll see you back after the commercial break.
Hello, this is Miguel Cole from the Wrestling POV podcast. Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global is affiliated with the Collar and Elbow brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com and save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Collar and Elbow has t-shirts, hoodies, sunglasses, and more. And the best part, you're helping out your local indie wrestlers, and you're helping out the best wrestling podcast of all, Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global. You don't want to miss out, so save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Oh my goodness!
Hey, folks, we are back. Woo. Elio, you still sober?
I'm still sober.
Oh, I'm not.
Not for long.
Folks, let's take a look at, we're going to cross the big pond, and talk about New Japan Wrestling right now. New Japan has a big New Beginnings in Osaka coming up. And there are some exciting cards. We're going to go quickly over the card, make a few quick picks, and see how we do in the upcoming, by next week. We'll know by the weekend how we did, okay? First match, a 20-minute time limit. We have Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Hiroshi Tenzan, and Manabu Nakanashi versus Taguchi, Toa Hanare, Tomko Hanma, and Togi Makabe. I'm going to say, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
If I had to pick, I'd go with the other team, with the Hanma's team.
Okay. I don't really care. These are either old guys or guys who are never going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, just based on the on the Liger one, usually Liger lost both matches.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, because I don't know. See, this is what I don't get. It says the Manabu Nakanishi final. I don't get that.
Yeah, right. I don't get it either. I don't know. Wait a sec. I do believe Nakanishi's retiring right away too. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's what's going on here. There's just some of he's gearing up to end. So I'm going to guess then that he probably is going to lose. It seems that's the kind of Japanese tradition, is lose your last couple matches and give the rub to somebody else. I find it pretty funny that these guys are all like 20-plus year veterans, except for Toa Hanare, who's only been wrestling for like 2 or 3 years. The rest of the guys have been around forever and a day. So interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Second match, 60-minute time limit. The 61st IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions, Sho and Yo, putting their belts up against Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado. What are you reading here, Elio?
Well, we know we talk about the Sho and Yo's track record, winning championships isn't right away. I'm going to go with Kanemaru and Desperado.
Yeah, me too. Sho and Yo have choked every single time they defended their title. I think it's not going to end. They're going to choke on this one and lose those belts. All right. Moving on to our next scheduled match. A 30-minute special 8-man tag match. Kota Ibushi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Dave Finlay, and Juice Robinson taking on Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, Tonga Loa, and Tama Tonga. So we got 4 kind of independents going up against the Bullet Club. Well, at least the weaker versions of the Bullet Club. Wow, there's really nothing to gain here.
No.
I don't think this match has a lot of meaning. I mean, yes, you've got Finjuice having lost to the Gorillas, but yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know. I'm gonna give it to the Bullet Club.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bullet Club as well.
All right. The fourth match is a 60-minute time limit match. Will Ospreay teaming with Kazuchika Okada against Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi. Ooh, that shouldn't be hard to guess. I'm gonna guess that Tai Chi gets pinned here.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Ospreay and Okada on this one.
All right. Then we have our fifth match will be Sonata versus Jay White. Ooh, this has been brewing for a while. Your thoughts?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Jay White on this one.
All right, I'm gonna go with Sonata. That this will be Sonata's breakout finally for things. So let's pick Sonata with this one. All righty, moving on. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Hiromu Takahashi.
Did you pick for White and Sonata?
Yeah, I said Sonata.
Okay. Oh yeah, and I'm going with White. Okay.
Right. All right. For the junior heavyweight title, we have Takahashi putting his belt up against Ryu Lee.
Ryu
Lee, is that Dragon Lee?
Yeah, it's Dragon Lee. Because you even told me that. Because I was asking you when I first saw that name. I asked you who that was.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. It just keeps throwing me off that he keeps calling himself Dragon Lee there and Ryu Lee here. It is the same dude. Sorry.
Yeah. This one shouldn't be hard. I'm gonna go with Takahashi.
Yeah, I can't see him losing it, right after just winning it. His story, coming back from such a serious neck injury, making himself, he's not going to lose in his first title defense. All right, next, a 60-minute time limit match. Jon Moxley putting up the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship against Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Moxley on this one.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, you know what? Let's play the devil's advocate. Why not?
Okay.
I'll go with Suzuki.
You go with Suzuki?
Yeah.
All right.
Although the big winner here is going to be the fans that watch this, because this is going to be an out-and-out brawl. Okay? This is going to be a really good brawl. And in the main event, Tetsuya Naito putting up his IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental belts against Kenta, the former Hideo Itami. Is Naito going to lose it in his first defense?
See, this is bad because if Naito he loses both championships.
Yeah, that's right. He's got them both up in this match.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's a hard thing. He just won both. I can't see him losing it right away.
Wow, we are very much in agreement on this card. I'm going to have to agree with you. He just won the belt at Wrestle Kingdom. I think it's too soon for him to lose that belt. Unlike Sho and Yo, he doesn't choke as much. All right. So this weekend, fans, by the time next weekend's show rolls around, we will be talking about the results here, and hopefully the people you wanted, and I don't mean you as in you Elio, but I just can't help myself sometimes. Yeah, okay. Let's get into our weekly roundup of shows. This is every week. Right. Every week we cover MLW, we cover NXT UK, and we also cover AEW. And you know what? Let's start off this week with NXT UK.
All right.
Tell me, my friend, what were the highlights for you this week?
Okay, NXT UK. We were looking at Denny Burch called themselves the Brit and Bruisers defeating the Hunt. They really took it to the Hunt because they rarely, I've rarely seen them lose a match.
Yeah, that was kind of like, I was very surprised at that. It really seemed like they took quite a beating here.
I really liked the Isla Dawn and the Samuels match. It was good to see Isla Dawn pick up a win.
What would you say was your biggest highlight of this whole thing, though?
The main event, I believe, was Dave Mastiff and was it South Wales Subculture? They took on Gallus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My highlight of the night, the main event was pretty good. It wasn't great, though. I'm going to say that. It was good, but not great. We've seen better. Yeah, it's going to have to probably be my highlight of the week.
Although I do have to Ridge Holland as much as I'm not buying this character, this gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
That match he had with Tyson mode. It's like they were just like hitting each other, like it was like strong style.
It was a very exciting match for two guys who weren't very far up the card who really took it to each other. Had these guys been bigger name dudes, I might have given them the highlight of the thing, but right now they're kind of low level dudes fighting over, the Nuggets. So yeah. My low light of the week, I'm gonna go with, and I really like this wrestler, and I really want to see better out of her. But I'm going to give my low light to Isla Dawn this week. It seemed she was a step off quite a bit, noticeably. And it seemed like Nina Samuels, who's usually the weak part of any of these matches, was the one carrying this match.
Oh no, could Nina Samuels be turning you?
No, I hope not, because I was actually a little impressed with her this week. God, I hope not. Shut up, Elio. Overall, this was a middling match. I'm going to give it a B minus. There wasn't anything horrible, but there really wasn't anything that stood out great either.
Yeah, I know this was a good show, but it wasn't the show that we saw last week. This week it wasn't as enjoyable. My low light. First of all, there's a new. There was a vignette for new woman called Aoife Valkyrie, which we're going to see in a couple of weeks. But my low light, I'm giving it to Eddie Dennis's promo.
Did he actually say anything? Was that actual promo? Can you count that as a promo?
I don't think you can. I mean,
it seemed like Tread 7 said a lot more than he did.
He came out to the ring and talked like this.
Yeah, he did.
He get to the point.
How do you take two sentences and stretch it out 5 minutes? You talk like Eddie Dennis, I guess. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. What would you give this week's episode?
A B minus, leaning towards C.
Yeah,
because it wasn't as enjoyable as last week.
When Tyson T-Bone is in one of the most exciting matches on the card, you know that you're in for a rough night.
Yep.
All right, let's move on now to MLW.
MLW.
All right, highlight of the night for you.
I did like that little vignette with Richard and Isaac and Team Filthy does Dallas. But I did like Myron Reed. I think it was against Drago.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back and take a look. But Dave Boy Smith versus Simon Gotch. I didn't hate the match. I just didn't like that kind of style of with the no ropes around the ring.
Fair enough. Now, I'm gonna counter with my highlight of the night.
Okay.
First of all, you got to give props up to Myron Reed and
yeah.
These dudes are becoming like New Day. They're just becoming every week. They're getting closer and closer to turning to faces with their outrageous behavior because they have the skill to back up their words. It's the second or third week in a row now where they've impressed me with their wrestling. But my highlight of the night also has to be I really dug the Davey Boy Smith Simon Gotch match for a couple of reasons. One, I'm very much can enjoy some grappling now and then, some really good intense wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it was something very different. MLW has been throwing lots of different things at us lately. And, we talk about how AEW says they don't want to be WWE, but then they do stuff that their whole show is just like WWE. MLW does its own thing, and it's exciting and it's fun. And it's very different. In that match, folks, imagine this match there was no ropes around the ring. There was nothing. No holds were barred. You could only win by knockout or submission. And Davey Boy knocked out Simon Gotch after 3 straight German suplexes on his head.
Yeah, he did throw Simon Gotch around in that ring.
My lowlights. I'll start with my lowlights.
Okay.
My lowlights. Harry Smith or Davey Boy Smith Jr. gonna have to work on his promos still. They're still coming off a little stiff. But for me, the main event, and it wasn't even a horrible main event. But if I have to look for what was the low light of the week for me, the Marshall Von Erich MJF match was pretty in middle of the road, not all that flashy for what was the main event tonight. And
I had that as my low light as well.
So
also the Mance Warner promo.
Yeah, we talked about this. The repercussions of it kind of suck. He comes out, talks about how he's finished off Jimmy Havoc, which is great, meaning we don't have to see more of their hardcore nonsense.
Yep.
But then telling us, at first we're all excited, telling us that he's gearing up to go after championship gold. And we're thinking that me and Elio are salivating thinking of Contra versus him. For him to turn around and say that he's going after Alexander Hammerstone's never openweight title, that was a kick in the balls, man. Yeah, not happy.
I don't get it.
Man, I don't know. It was heartbreaking, to say the least, okay? However, that being said, and you're right, I want to quickly say, throw out props. Dominic Guarini finally looked funny with the personality, like he just wasn't a sack of potatoes with a gi. Enjoyed his little contribution, and Filthy Tom's in what was it called? Filthy Takes
Filthy Does Dallas. That nice touch with the Dallas theme song.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this week's show. I'm gonna give it an A-. No, wait, that's a little high. A B+. I'm gonna give it a B+.
Okay.
I was going with a B+ because despite the fact that the main event wasn't spectacular, it was okay. Right. And the Myron Reed match and Injustice were incredibly fun, and I really like the Davey Boy Smith Contra stuff. So I'm gonna go with a B+.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a B+ as well because the MLW was the out of the 3 shows this week. This is like the MLW that I remember starting to watch.
Yep. Yeah. And let's hope it stays with this trend.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on now to our last segment here, looking at AEW. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. First of all, let's do our highlights and lowlights, and then we're going to look at some of what our good friend Ant the Liberated wrote on his Transparency of the Week, okay?
Okay.
Highlight of the week for you, my friend. All right, let's start low light. Let's go low.
Low light. Well, definitely for Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakazaki and Kip Sabian versus Joey Janela.
Oh gosh, could we be any more boring than Kip Sabian and Joey Janela?
Oh my goodness!
Terrible.
Very
The
terrible.
Britt Baker match. Got to agree with you on that, man. Like, I don't get it. She needs a lot more work. Maybe she needs a tag team partner or a manager or something. But and I didn't really buy the T thing. I really like the girl she fought, and hopefully we see her more in this division. The girl gets a sneak pin on her. Saki. I can never say her name properly.
Yuka Sakazaki.
Sakazaki. Okay. Britt Baker just came off as pretty weak still, and the whole putting that girl's face on the rope and then kicking the rope and then her spitting a tooth out was pretty ridiculous. It was pretty ridiculous.
And it was that was disgusting when she was like trying to put the lockjaw on her.
Yeah, and the
trying to get her. It's like okay.
Now, my lowlights, I agree with how badly those were, but my actual lowlights of the week, I'm gonna go with the Cody whipping thing was really. I don't really want to see this kind of garbage. I mean, what does this prove? He takes
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, from storyline I can see it, but I just didn't enjoy one thing about this segment.
Well, yeah. I mean, we watch wrestling because it's great fantasy and escape.
Yep.
And there is some elements of realism you can drag in. But what happened to Cody there, there's no fantasy in that. That was a straight up guy getting whipped and flogged on television. and I don't want to see that kind of junk. So for me, it was definitely one of the lowlights.
Mhm.
And for me, the other lowlight is the poor continuing, well, the devaluation of the Butcher and the Blade. You know, it seems like
Oh.
these poor suckers are just getting pushed worse and worse every week. This week they finally get a victory, but let's face it, did they really get the victory? Or did the Lucha brothers really just do all of that?
I think it was more. I think to me it looked like more Lucha Brothers did because
Yeah.
Butcher and the Blade that have lost that all their matches. I think are pretty
Yeah.
much.
They pretty much lost all the
Wow.
matches.
I mean, and the one time that they went, they didn't even do anything. It was Lucha Brothers doing most of the work.
Exactly. And wow, just not good. And the thought that Nyla Rose is still being pushed down our throats, not a fan of it.
Ugh.
Okay. Highlights.
I put SCU versus Best Friends as one of my highlights because, except for all that ending with the Dark Order crap at the end.
Yep, I agree. It was. I was trying to think of what was I going to put as a highlight. I mean, it should have been Moxley and Ortiz, but Ortiz just ruins it with his ridiculous hamming crap.
Stupid theatrics. It's like,
you know how
it's
much
ridiculous.
you know how much his theatrics bother me?
How much?
I say, get the freezer open, buddy. We're putting him.
Uh-oh.
Slowly, the great book opens.
Ortiz, you just made the book.
And while I'm on this roll of being magnificent and angry, I would like to say Nyla Rose also deserves to be in the book. Do you agree with me on this?
Good call. Yes, absolutely. Nyla Rose, you are now in the book.
Yeah, and if Britt Baker doesn't watch her cute little butt, she's going to end up in that book pretty soon, too.
And her stupid mandible claw finisher's already in there.
Yeah, she might end up there. Now, we took a quick look. Folks, our good friend Ed Deliberated, he posts a quickly recap of what he thinks are the good, the bad, and the ugly within AEW each week. We're not going to go over all of it because you can just simply go onto Facebook to Wrestling POV Podcast and read it yourself. However, for the sake of the show here, we're going to pick up some of his good and bad and ugly. Just go over a few things that he said and see how we agreed and see what our point of view is. Now, he talked about as under good, he put John Moxley and Ortiz. He liked. I'm going to have to say I disagree with that. I don't think that was a very good match. I thought it could have been a better match. I think Ortiz takes too much out of the realism of matches. And it just seemed like another setup for Moxley to have to fight Ortiz to fight Santana next week.
Yep.
He put down, however, one of the ones I totally agree with, even though I'm not a big fan of some of this, is I did think that Best Friends and SCU was a pretty solid match. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. And also, now he listed the Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade versus the Elite as something really good. I'm going to say no to that because the problem I had with this match is there was so much going on. Butcher and the Blade were looking just devalued more and more. The Lucha Brothers doing their normal stuff. All the Adam Page, Kenny Omega, or Adam Page getting mad at all of the Elite thing was really distracting. And when they really got rolling, it was like paint by numbers. Everyone's getting in their special move. And there was like no heart behind it. It was like everyone was going through the motions. And it just let me walk away thinking it was not that great of a match. And one other thing I know me and you totally disagree with, Joey Janela and Kip Sabian he listed as an okay match.
Yeah, no.
Not.
I have to disagree.
Under the bad, he listed the Inner Circle's reaction time. I mean, they could have stopped Santana any time from getting attacked in the eye, but that never happened, even though despite they were on there forever.
Okay.
He listed Britt Baker and Yuka Sakazaki, which we did say we thought also was not a very good match.
Yep.
And he listed
Cody's 10 lashes.
Yeah, the 10 lashes. And we agree. Nobody wants to see that kind of stuff. So, folks, if you want to read the whole recap of Anthem Liberated, please go on to Wrestling POV podcast page on your Facebook. And you know what? If you'd like the chance to maybe talk to any of us to write in what you think of the things we've been talking about, feel free to drop us a line. Like I said, you can find us all the time on the Facebook at WPOV Wrestling Podcast. You can also what else? I'm always mixing
on
Twitter,
Instagram at Wrestling POV1 and Twitter at Wrestling POV.
Right. And you know what? Before we wrap this up, we should mention that we also have a sister show, and that's Wrestling POV, which is hosted by our four good friends, our four good American friends. Although I do wonder if the puppet is American. He could have been made in China. And if he is, watch out for the coronavirus. That's all I'm going to say. You think Miguel has the coronavirus? Anyhow, they have a tremendously fun show where they cover all the going-ons in all of the WWE except for NXT UK, which is our section of the woods. But they cover all the other stuff. You can hear them right on the same network you hear us on, or you can find their show on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean. Look them up, Wrestling POV. A lot of fun times. Well, you know what? We put some people in the vault. We discussed a lot of interesting stuff. I think we're rolling down the end of the day here. I want to thank all of our fans from all across the world who take the opportunity to talk to us, to share this fun love of wrestling. I mean, me and Elio do this because we legitimately enjoy watching programs like MLW. We legitimately enjoy NXT UK, New Japan. And there are times we enjoy AEW, and there are times where we want to pull our hair out. And as anyone who saw me, hair has already been pulled out because of AEW. We love this wrestling, and we love to be able to talk about it. And we love it so much, folks. I mean, we do this roughly an hour-long show every week. But I got to tell you, me and Elio probably talk 2 or 3 hours every week just about wrestling. And it's not necessarily even about what we're going to say on the show at all. We talk about wrestling. We talk about what we think of the women's division in AEW. We talk about the people going on NXT UK. We talk about the upcoming crap going on. Hell, we had a discussion today. We were trying to figure out what the hell Kenta meant. Yeah, and you know what? We're not even going to talk about it on the show, fans. It took Elio a while to dig it up. If you're interested, do it yourself. Okay, like go look it up. I was just curious because I remember when we started, when I started getting into Japanese wrestling, there was Kenta Kobayashi and there was Kenta, and I'd see these two names and I'd get confused. And well, if you ever saw them, you would never be confused. They look nothing like each other. But in print, people can see them the same by a letter or two off. So, but like I said, we love this, and we love to take that opportunity to hear more from you. And we'll even make you a promise. You write in a letter about something we've talked about that isn't under the poll. We will actually read your letters sometime. We'll even do some mailbag stuff. We'll read your letters. We'll respond to the questions you have. And if they're stupid, well, we'll laugh at you and throw them away. But if they're good, we'll read them, okay? And I know, I studied to be a school teacher. I will not correct your grandma this time. But next time, you do more. Anyways, folks, have yourself a great night. We look forward to seeing you next week. Elio, say goodnight to the good people.
All right, fans. We will talk to you all next week.